Have you ever lost something only to find exactly where it was supposed to be? You might be go looking for your shoes, and you're looking all around your room, you're looking under your bed, and lo and behold, it's in the closet right where it's supposed to be. Maybe you're looking for your passport. I'm supposed to be going on a mission trip to Panama at the end of August, and I was looking for my passport to see if it's still within date, and I had no clue where that thing was. Of course, I've moved houses since then too, and when I had found it, it was exactly in the same drawer of the same nightstand of the one that I had in the apartment when I moved to the house. So it was right where it was supposed to be. Maybe, sometimes you kind of lose a child. I think it would be kind of easy maybe here at Wood Avenue to kind of lose a child, although we got a lot of parents and not just the duo looking after them all. But, it might be pretty easy. We did that to my brother and a friend's family at Universal Studios, and we lost my brother. Sometimes those things happen, and somehow you find them. But you got to think of the parents in those situations, or you, especially when you're rushing to church trying to find that shoe, or you're going, oh man, I only have 2 months till I have to go to Panama. I better get this done quick before, because that process is a long process. Or maybe going, I'm in distress just because I don't know where my kid is. So there could be any number of reasons, that you might lose something, but a lot of times it seems to be right where it's supposed to be when you've lost that thing. So in Luke chapter 2, Jesus' family had traveled to Jerusalem. They had traveled to Jerusalem, and they had done their time there. They had spent their week, and they were on their way out, and they were leaving Jerusalem with their family. You got to think of this big old caravan of a family is going back to Nazareth from Jerusalem. It doesn't really say that it's just maybe 1 or 2 carts or something like that, but it's enough that they left thinking that Jesus was with the family where he was supposed to be. But they had kept going, and then they started going, where's Jesus? Where's he at? And so they realized very quickly that he was not amongst the family, as it says there in verse 44 through 47. And so what they did is they decided to go back to the only place that they had last seen him. Of course, that was in Jerusalem, a big city following this week of celebration and this feast. But they go there in search of him again. And it even says that in verse 46, after 3 days they had found him. That's a long time to be almost maybe on your way, maybe halfway or wherever you might have gotten on your way to Nazareth. And then 3 days into that going, I have no clue where my child is. But I think for a lot of parents, there's not an extent to how much effort they would go into trying to find their child. So in that journey, in that time frame, they're looking for him. And it happened to be that he was really right where he was supposed to be. This lost son of Joseph and Mary was actually right where he was supposed to be. They said in verse 48, "Son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been searching for you in distress." I can only imagine the panic and the overwhelming emotion, but also thankfulness that they had found their son. But they're saying to him, why have you done this to us? I don't think any kid ever chooses to really put their parents through that, although it seems like that might be for some other kids a little easier than others. But in this moment, they were just so thrilled, but also in distress that they had to go through this process. And of course, Jesus says, "Why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house?" He was right where he was supposed to be. It goes on in verse 50, "And they did not understand the saying that he spoke to them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. And his mother treasured up all the things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God." It says here that Mary stored up those things. She treasured up those things in her heart. I can imagine the stories that you will be able to tell as a parent about your kid in the future, or the opportunity. And I've heard my parents tell stories about me and my brother and the things that they remember about us. But those things that you treasure, those moments when Jesus was doing these things, when he was growing up in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and with man, I can only imagine how much joy it was to see that they had been raising such a great child. But really, there was something more to Jesus, wasn't there? And from the beginning, even before he was born, they knew that he was going to be different. And so when I look at this passage, and to my knowledge, I have to think that Mary was the only one to give up Jesus only to gain him back. Because we don't give up Jesus. Jesus is there for us in all things, and he is always going to be waiting on us, but sometimes we choose to go a different direction. Sometimes it feels like we are so far from God that it feels like we are giving him up. But that's not how it works. See, when we choose to think that we're giving up God, we're really just pushing him away. And we're not trying to be those people. No parent will ever truly try to push their child away. No good parent would ever do that, just like Mary and Joseph. But Mary had to give up something great, a great possession to her, a treasure to her. But then there are things in our lives that we treasure and that we hold on to that we need to give up. We may not give up Jesus like Joseph and Mary, but we give up those things in our lives that are keeping us from having that relationship with Christ. So tonight, what is holding you back from that true relationship with Christ? What do you have to give up? Do you have to give up something that is keeping you from him? Or maybe it's something at work, or maybe it's a friend or someone in your life that is keeping you from going in the right direction. Maybe you need to step up and say something and make right on the things that you need to, so that others may see your good deeds and your good works and the faith that you have, so that they too can see Christ. But whatever your need may be, we ask that you'll come and stand as we stand and sing the song of invitation.